Hello everyone, this is Dr. Lancaster. The video that you're watching right now is extremely important because I will go over the different guidelines that I want you to follow in doing your assignments. So let me show you what this video will entail. So our agenda in this video is to go over the grading guidelines for the learning objective questions, the discussion boards, and then some pointers on the concept review, to reiterate the late policies, and just a reminder to track your grades, read your comments, read your daily BCTC emails. I'll also go over what some grades mean and how to interpret them and what to do if you get them. So extremely important video. I'm going to try to keep it under a half hour today. So let's look at Module 2 assignments. So this week, due by Sunday, I'd like you to watch this video that you're watching right now. Well done. You'll read Chapter 1, The Science of Human Development. You're going to answer and submit your learning objective questions. I'll go into depth of what these are and what they look like. You'll complete the concept review. This item right here, I should have taken it out. This doesn't pertain to you. So you'll complete the concept review and then post twice on the discussion board. And I'll talk about what the grading guidelines are for those as well. So first of all, I just want to pop into Blackboard and take a look at Module 2, what it looks like, and just talk about how to get in there. So let me switch screens here to get in there. All right, so this is obviously our class. Let's scroll down to Module 2. You click on it to open it. So this is the first week we're going to be doing our chapter assignments and our reading and learning content. So this is what it looks like in Module 2 and what you're expected to do. So you're watching this video now. I'll also put the PowerPoint presentation that I used for the video in there, so you can have it for your notes to page through. Your reading is done in the Achieve ebook. Achieve is the name of the electronic resources that your book uses, that Macmillan uses. So whether it's general psychology or lifespan psychology, if it's a Macmillan textbook, they always call it Achieve. That link, when you click on it, will go into the electronic textbook so you can read the chapter. The next thing I'll have you do, well, let me back up a second. While you read this chapter, I want you to, at the same time, answer these learning objective questions. These are really the backbone of your learning for the semester. Let's take a look just really quickly what this looks like. So you'll view the instructions, and I want you to complete this while you read the chapter. So you'll go in here and there's a drop down instructions, drop down instructions at the bottom, the grading guidelines, and then this is the assignment that you'll do. Let's just take a quick look. So for every chapter, there's a set of 10 questions I'm asking you to answer. And many of the questions will be multi-part questions. So don't let that frustrate you. I just need you to know the details and depth of some really precise concepts. And, you know, it's complex, so there's more than one question. I'll show you how to answer these. I just want to look in here quickly to show you what it looks like. So answer those while you're reading. When you're finished with that, that's when you take the concept review. So you click on this, it will open up what I'm calling the concept review. You could also think of it as a quiz, but it's different from a quiz. There's no time limit, and for each question you get 2 tries per question to answer it. So if you get a question wrong, look up the correct answer and then get it right. So it's a great way to get a lot of points, earn all of your points. Why do I do it that way? Research shows us that when we get a question wrong or we get material wrong, when we have to look for it again and answer it correctly, it helps with our long and lasting learning. So that's my method and madness behind doing it this way. And then lastly, you'll go into the discussion board. You click on this just like you did in Module 1, only now we're talking about the content of class. And I really need you to talk in terms of what you read and what I'm asking you to go back in and read here and remember. So, and several times throughout the semester, I'll have little videos to watch as well to understand it. But it's really not your opinion per se, it's your answering the question with your understanding of the material. So it's just not off the top of your head, I guess I want to say. But for sure, I want your perspective on it. And then lastly, in every module, I have just a bazillion videos. I put in all the videos that are available for this class that are there to help you understand the material and watch them. They're not required, but they really do add a lot to your learning. So check those out. They're all in here. There's a ton. You'll go, oh my gosh, you put in so many videos. All right, so this is where you'll go to complete the assignments that I'm going to talk about in the PowerPoint. So let me get back to that and we'll keep running through this. All right, so let's start out by going into depth with the learning objective questions. These are the questions that you'll answer while you are reading your assignments. So let's check this out. So with the learning objective questions, this is the first, let me get my pointer. This is the first question in your assignment. So define the science of human development and list the 5 steps of the scientific method. Actually, I've used, this is not your first question. This is the question out of lifespan development. And I think I did that on purpose because I don't want to just answer your questions for you. But what's important here is how you answer the learning objective questions. So basically, for each question, when you submit your assignment, leave the question in there. You can download this document, the learning objective questions document, and use it as your own. Save it, save your work in there, write your answers after each question, and then that's what you would submit. I don't need you to reconstruct the assignment. Just save it as your own, put your answers in there, and then submit that to me. So here's what it should look like when you answer your learning objective questions. So there'll be the question, and then I want you to use an outline format in answering these questions. So you answer the first part, you notice the first part is here. Look, there's space between here, so it's readable, very readable. It asks for the 5 steps, so I've numbered those 5 steps. I've bolded the key terms, and then the last part of the question is to explain why replication is important. I've bolded the key term and just had a really short and sweet answer here. I'm looking for complete answers, not overly wordy, not all chatty, concise, so you answer the question, period, not a lot of elaboration, and clear. So complete, clear, and concise, and well organized. If you meet those four criteria, I'm so happy. Please do not write these in full paragraphs. Why? I want you to save your time. I just need you to pull out the information, the facts, organize it so it can be clearly read and easily found. So I don't want you to spend your time writing beautifully written paragraphs. I just want you to pull out the information so you have it in your notes. Secondly, it is really difficult for me to grade these assignments if I have to read full paragraphs. So I have 5 classes where every student is writing learning objective questions. And if I have to read how many? So 10 times, I don't know, 120 students every week. That's what, 1,200? Oh my gosh, that's 1,200 paragraphs. Don't write this in a paragraph. Just write it so I can read it quickly. I hope I'm clear about that. If you write it in a paragraph form, I'm going to call it out in your comments, in your grading comments. Here's another example of what it would look like. This is an actual student's example. So she's just used the, or he, I can't remember. They just used the actual assignment, saved it as their own, and then notice how they've written it. So here's the question. I always have a heading so you can find in the textbook where this information is. The question is here, and then when they've pulled out the information, they used blue font to use their key terms and some of the key information. So it's just beautiful. I really loved the format that they used in this. So use this format. I will be thrilled with your work, and you'll get great comments from me. Don't write it in a full paragraph. I can't stress that enough. Here's how I grade your work. So for each question, you can get a total of 5 points. So you'll get all 5 points if it's in that outline format, if it's succinctly summarized. So those 4 things, right? So it needs to be complete, it needs to be clear, concise, and then well organized in a format that I've requested in the outline format. So all the questions are answered, terms are defined. You can use the terminology out of the textbook. I won't ding you for plagiarism for that. I need you to learn the terminology and the definitions of these terms. So don't try to, use a thesaurus to change every single word in a definition. Just use a definition. When I ask you to explain something, explain it in your own words. You won't get all the points if the answers are incomplete, if there's parts of the question not answered, if there's definitions missing, etc. You will get 0 points on a question, of course, if it's not answered, or if it's incorrect. If I see that all of the answers have been totally cut and pasted from the textbook, you will get a 0 as well. Excuse me, I may or may not ask you to redo your work if that's the case. So write in the outline format. It doesn't have to be formally outlined with numbers and Roman numerals. It just needs to have spaces between it, white spaces. Answer all the questions. When you submit your learning objective questions, Blackboard is really particular. Because I add comments in your document, I want you to attach a document and not a link to the document. Attach the actual document when you're submitting these. And it has to be a Word document. Remember, Microsoft Word is free to you to download onto your computer. If you go in the Start Here menu, do that. Use Microsoft Word. Or it can open PDF files. If you're using a MacBook or you use Google Docs, I cannot open those in Blackboard. So you need to either export them out to a Word document or save them as a Word document and then submit them. If for some reason I can't open one of your assignments, don't freak out about this, but I'll give you a 0 and I'll make a comment in your gradebook requesting that you resubmit the assignment. So if you see a 0 and you submitted your work, be calm and just read your comments. It probably says I can't open your document and to resubmit it. I will not count these late. I just need to grade your work, right? I just need to have it in the right format. Don't attach a link. I can't open the Google Docs links at all. And I don't want to open a separate document to add comments and then save that. It just makes it overly complicated. So you can link an assignment. You can also copy and paste your work in the submission box with these assignments. I prefer you to just attach a document. You must keep the questions and the question numbers in your assignment. That's very important when I grade too. So email me with any questions about this, but give it a shot. You'll probably do really well. Next, the discussion board posts. You'll do 2 of these every module. So the first part is the response, just like you did in week 1 in the intro to class. But now I expect your responses to be in much more depth. So I expect a nice solid paragraph. In my mind, that's 5 to 7 minimum sentences. Make sure they're in depth, that they answer the questions fully, using the terms and ideas from the reading. Please go in and correct your capitalization. The word I is always capitalized. The first word of every sentence is capitalized. There's a period at the end of every sentence. Check your spelling, psychology. It looks like physiology sometimes, but it's spelled differently. So get psychology spelled right. And check your other punctuation errors, like contractions, like don't has an apostrophe in there, D-O-N apostrophe T. So you submit your response, and then you go in and read other students' post, and you post a reply with substance in your answer to 1 or more students. So I agree is not an appropriate reply. Just comment on what they said. A lot of students are really sort of supportive in their comments, which is wonderful. And these have to be 3 or more sentences. So to summarize, your first response should be a nice big solid paragraph. And your reply should be 3 or more sentences just to 1 student. If you want to comment to other students, that's wonderful. Email me with any questions here. Just to back up a minute, with discussion boards and the grading, if for some reason you see a grade out of 15 out of 25, it's probably because you forgot to reply to another person. So 25 is the total points. If you do these 2 things, you'll get it all, and I'll write a nice comment. If you don't, I'll say, hey, you're missing your reply, and drop 10 points off there. So do your discussion boards, easy way to get points. And then every module you'll do a concept review. This is as I said, the chapter quiz goes to the online textbook. You get 2 attempts per question. Here's the important thing about these darn concept reviews. This drives everyone crazy in all of my classes. There is a timing delay between the Achieve gradebook, which is where you'll take your concept review, and the Blackboard gradebook. I have them set up so they link, but it takes time. So what happens is students will take the concept review and Achieve, get them all right, go into their Blackboard gradebook, and it will be 2 points out of 25, and they'll panic and they'll email me, and I'll say these words to them. I will say, there's a timing delay between the Achieve gradebook and the Blackboard gradebook, and it takes time to sync over to Blackboard. Don't panic, it will eventually sync. So just give it time. If you email me, great, that's fine, but I'm trying to minimize that here. So just know that there's that delay. It is frustrating. I don't like it either, but it is what it is. All right, just a reminder of late policies. For the learning objective questions and the discussion board post, there's a 3-day grace period after the due date. So all of our stuff's due on Sundays, which means by at least that next Wednesday, you have to have it in by 11:59 at night, or starting Thursday morning, if I'm grading, you'll get a 0. So if you can't do that, if something crazy going on in your life, please email me. We'll discuss options that will work for you so you can get your work in without getting a 0. The concept reviews are different. They don't have a grace period, but I will allow you to take those until the very end of the semester. So even chapter 1, if you didn't do the concept review, you could go back and take it in next week without a penalty, without earning a 0. There's just a 10% penalty. You'll get 90% of the points. So I think 90% of 25 is what? 22.5. So remember the late policies. Be sure to check your grades and read the comments I make. So go into the grade book tab in our class site, not the one that is for all of your classes before you get into our class site in Blackboard, but go into our class site, check your grades there so you can read the comments I make to you. I will make comments on almost everything at the beginning of the semester so you understand and it's clear what I expect from you. The comments will, if there's a mistake in your work, it will tell you how to correct it for the next week and why you lost the points and how to improve. Again, if you get a 0, read the comments. I mean, if you submitted your work and you got a 0, read your comments. I probably am asking you to resubmit it. And please check your BCTC email daily so you're not missing anything. Knowledge is power. I want you to have the power to do the best you can. So get that knowledge out of your emails. All right, let's summarize this. So this video is about how to complete your assignments correctly and to earn the full points. I went through the learning objective questions parameters that I expect for your submission, the correct formats to use. We talked about late policies. We talked about the 2 times you have to submit in the discussion boards. We went over the concept reviews. You get 2 attempts. Remember, there's a grade sync delay, which will drive you crazy. And be sure to read your gradebook comments. Check your email. All right. And like always, email me at any time with any questions. I will get back to you as soon as I read it. All right. Thanks for watching this video. I'm so glad you're in class with us all, and you have a wonderful day.